Good evening, I'm Maciej, Mikos, and you're watching World Talks. Lithuania wants to approach the International Court of Justice over Belarusian smuggler balloons disrupting the airspace at the Vilnius airport. And to talk about the continuous hybrid pressure on Lithuania and more, we're joined by Rasa Juknevičienė, Lithuanian MEP and former Lithuanian Defense Minister. Good evening.
Good evening.
So Prime Minister Inga Ruginienė wants to fire the Lukashenko regime at the International Court of Justice. Now I'm wondering, what is the purpose of such a move, as Minsk would first have to agree to be trialed by the ICJ?
Because it's a hybrid attack. It's attack against sovereign country, similar like it happened a few years ago. Before large-scale intervention into Ukraine, we, together with Poland and Latvia, by the way, we faced hybrid attack when migrants were used as a weapon, weaponized migration. You know the story. The story was like that they wanted to make chaos in our countries, to have more fear, and of course to block, in advance our support to Ukraine, but they didn't succeed. Nevertheless, it was damage done, of course, and now they are using smuggling, tobacco smuggling, as a weapon. And you know, when we build that fence because of the migration, to stop migration, then those people, smugglers who are smuggling, because of the differences of the prices with different items, but tobacco, cigarettes are the most important incomes for them. And by the way, incomes for Lukashenko regime, it always was. So now they started to use meteorological balloons. And for those who don't know what does it mean, I have to say that it's not like balloons for birthdays or for parties, but that is big balloons, size of the room, or they can carry about 60 kilos.
So why can't Lithuania simply shoot down these balloons? Because, as you say, these are huge objects, right? They have no jet engines whatsoever, right? So it's easy to shoot them down. Why does it keep on happening that these balloons disrupt the airspace over the Vilnius airport?
Look, but they can fly in 20 kilometers high. So it's not possible to shoot. It's not so easy, as you are saying. It's not so easy, and it's not easy to find them on our radars. Now we have much better radars, and we can detect them. But to shoot, it means that they have heavy weight, and it can also damage people, injured people, and so on. So we are trying to find new possibilities to do this. You understand that it's not possible to shoot them when they are coming with 40, 50 or more, sometimes hundreds, with weapons from our jets or airplanes. So it's not so easy task. And Lukashenko, those smugglers from Belarusian side, of course, and maybe Lithuanian side as well, I don't know. But
so I can tell you, because the investigation has shown that some 100 people on the Lithuanian side of the border were clearly recipients of the cigarettes smuggled by balloons. And you know, I have a question here, because maybe you don't know, maybe you know. I'm wondering whether the people on the Lithuanian side of the border are this simple, just petty criminals, or do they have something to do? Do they have something in common with Russia or Belarus?
Maybe both. Now our criminal investigations are going, and of course I think we could be more active to take those people, to arrest them or to find them. But it's going on. It's going on. Despite that, balloons are still going. And on the other side, it's under the control of the state, under control of Lukashenko regime, because 5 kilometers next to our border on Belarusian side, even mouse cannot be moved, not noticed by Lukashenko regime services. So of course it's under the control. And the next step, what they did when our government decided to close the borders, they took as a hostages our truck holders, our people who are doing business. Of course, myself as a politician, I would say that those people are not took not seriously that business in Belarus is a risky business. To go there is very risky. It can happen every single day. But nevertheless, when they took those trucks and now are not allowing, despite the borders are open, they are not allowing to leave them, to take them back to Lithuania. It also shows that it's hybrid warfare.
So what will be the Vilnius's response to this? Closing the border again? I mean, Minsk is clearly toying with Vilnius.
Yes, of course, and they are using this as a tool to blackmail. Their requirement is to meet in the high political level our politicians, Minister of Foreign Affairs, to their Minister of Foreign Affairs. It means that they are really organize this action like a coordinated, combined offensive against Lithuania. So I think today it's time, and we had very, I would say, strong message from European Parliament. We had debate already on Wednesday, where many members of Parliament and also our representatives from Commission made statements, and we were very clear: it's a hybrid attack. And now we will, of course, we need more sanctions. And this is up to European Union to decide, because Belarus is part of Russian activities, Russian policies, like a proxy. It's collaborator of Kremlin against Ukraine, and also a hybrid warfare against us, not only Lithuania. You know what happened in Poland in few weeks ago? It also, Belarus territory was used for those who made this terroristic attack on your railways as a place where they were able to hide. So this is more complex than only our attacks against Lithuania. Belarus is becoming a platform for hybrid attacks against the European Union and NATO countries.
So what sort of sanctions are you talking about? Because there are already sanctions imposed on Minsk. So what else can Europe and quite possibly the US do in this case?
Not all sanctions, not all. Belarus sanctions on Russia and sanctions on Belarus still are different, and still there are many for Lukashenko to stop his incomes for fertilizers, for example, other issues which are on the table. Our Minister of Foreign Affairs put already on the table of European Council, and they have to seriously to look at them. It's not only one, by the way, proposal, even more on that, on sanctions against Belarus. And also we have to coordinate our efforts together with Polish, with Latvian authorities, how to organize trade or transit from our countries to Lukashenko. If the war is war, and we have to act as serious people with countries like Belarus and such regimes. I don't believe any talks, any possible negotiations with Lukashenko. Some countries like United States, for example, they believe that it's possible somehow using Lukashenko to influence Putin. It happened several times already, such attempts. but it didn't have any fruitful outcome of such talks.
Right. Now, lastly, I'd like to ask you about the current political turmoil in Ukraine, because Lithuania has been the very steadfast ally of Ukraine for all these years of the Russian invasion. And now Andriy Yermak resigned his post today as the head of the president's office due to the corruption scandal. How do you think this whole situation will be exploited by Russia?
Yeah, they are exploiting it, but on the other hand, saying that, of course, corruption is an issue, and corruption is, how to say, heritage, I would say, of Soviet Union. In very many countries, we lived under the communism, Soviet system. Of course, we, when we joined EU and our attempts to join EU, reforms we did, institutions we have, it was so helpful to fight corruption. So on the other hand, saying that it's very sad to see those facts of corruption in the highest levels in Ukraine. But on the other hand, I see very optimistic outcome, because they are able to fight corruption and even to not to be afraid, how to say, to take big fish in terminology of the fight of corruption. So it looks like we have a light at the end of the tunnel. It's very important for Ukraine to fight corruption if they want to become, or of course they want to become members of the European Union. So I am urging everybody to look into this situation as a possibility for Ukraine to solve the problems they had since long time ago and still have, and that maybe can change this scandal, this turmoil. Maybe it can change the attitude of the people in this country to understand that they have to go to an end of such habits as they had until now. Of course, war today is most important. To win this war is number one. But on the other hand, it's also war for the future of Ukraine. So it means that fight corruption is also the way to the better future of Ukraine. You ask about Russia. Look, Russia itself is like a corrupt statehood, where statehood itself, or this regime itself, is corrupt, and corruption is coming from there. So if Ukraine will not win this war and Russia will take over and will take more territories in European continent, so corruption will be even more spread around. So I don't know if I explained in a very clear way, but to win this war and to fight corruption is exactly the same fight to become Ukraine in the future European normal state with welfare and people living as now we live, like Baltic countries. We were occupied by Soviet Union, lived in the same terrible environment, but now we are on the other side of the ocean, I would say, or situation, and Ukraine has ability to fight corruption. So this encourages me to believe even more in the future of Ukraine.
Rasa Juknevičienė, Lithuanian MEP and former Lithuanian Defense Minister, was our guest this evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Stay with us for more news and interviews here on TVP World.